In this video you are going to see me take these photos. Let's go! Today we are in Sandemar again. Probably my favorite spot to do macro photography. And the biodiversity now in the beginning of June is really great. So I'm looking forward to this photo walk. I always want to try something new or something different every time I go out, just to add a bit of variation to my life. And today I felt like I want to give the internal focus stacking in the Olympus cameras a second chance. Because as you might know, I've mostly been using the bracketing function, which means that you can do deeper stacks, but you have to assemble them yourself in the computer afterwards. But the OM cameras can of course also assemble a stack in camera, which often fails but often also works. But it cannot do as deep stacks, and also you are limited to, I think, a maximum of 15 photos in each stack. And also you are limited to the JPEGs that will be output. You don't get the stack as a raw file. And the JPEGs are not like always super high quality, and sometimes the colors are slightly weird. But what you gain is of course the convenience of not having to do the stacking yourself afterwards. Just the knowledge of not having to do that makes, I think, the photo walk more fun. And what's the point of doing macro photography if it's not to have fun? And today I'm gonna use my OM1 Mark 1 camera. I'm gonna use the Godox V350 small and lightweight flash. I'm gonna use the OM 90mm macro lens, and I'm gonna use an AK diffuser. So to be clear here, what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna go into the focus stacking feature and enable that and set number of shots. Then I guess I will begin by trying to max it out. Not sure if I've actually done that before. The differential is how far the focus point should move between each shot. And I find that 1, 2 or 3 are usually good values when you're doing high magnification, which 2 times magnification is. I think I'm gonna go with 2 today. And charge time, I always set this to 0 because my flash is fast enough to handle that in most situations. It simply means how long it will wait between each shot. And I think it actually waits for the flash to signal that the next shot is possible. So in most cases 0 seconds should work fine here. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go with 1/100th of a second in shutter speed because that is the maximum that this camera can do when stacking. And f8 is probably fine as aperture. And I see now that the ISO is in auto, but I wanna lock that to 200 so that I know that it won't run away and destroy my photos. I like shooting in manual because then I know exactly what settings I have. Alright, let's try this. This video is brought to you by my Macrophotography Handbook, a 113-page ebook PDF that you can purchase from me that contains everything I know about macro photography, and you can read this book in maybe 2 evenings. So it's a great way to learn everything I have learned during the last 8 years in just a couple of hours. And go check it out on this URL or just click the link in the description. And also you help support my work by purchasing it. Thank you. I just saw a fly down here, but I have this issue now that the flash is shooting very slowly when I'm taking a stack. Look at this. It's taking like 1 photo per second, and that is of course completely useless when you're trying to focus stack a live insect. And what I think is the problem here, and I'm saying this because you might have the same issue someday, or you might have had the same issue. The problem usually is that the flash is set in a mode where you have this, you have this antenna here, so it's in some kind of slave mode, some sync mode, and that can sometimes cause this issue. So you need to disable everything that has to do with wireless shooting, and usually it will work a lot better. So I'm gonna try to do that now. Okay, so this is always like super unintuitive, but I asked ChatGPT how to disable the wireless mode completely, and now I know how to do it. You have to hold the sync button for a couple of seconds, and then the antenna here in the corner will start flashing, and then you can spin the wheel until the channel number down here is gone, and then you know that you have exited any wireless mode. So let's try now again to do a focus stack and see if it's faster. You only want it to look like this: manual, and the power, and no wireless symbols or channels down here. Then you know that you have good settings. So let's see. Yes, now it's fast again. That's nice. And you always get this progress bar when you have done a stack, because the camera now tries to assemble it. So that's one of the downsides with using this in-camera stacking mode, that you always have to wait a while after taking a picture. And especially if you have a slower SD card, then this might take a while. So if you're gonna use this mode a lot, I suggest you buy the fastest SD card that you can find. Here we have Beetle sitting very still. Okay, now it's doing the stack. Let's see if it will manage to assemble it. I think I held the camera fairly still. Now it's 50% done. Still working. So exciting. What I'm most excited about is that I'm not gonna have to do this in the computer. Oh, focus stacking error. Okay, it failed. Well, let's try again. I'm gonna now support the lens against my hand to get more stability. There is something in the way. I'm gonna try to twist a little bit. And now it started moving, so I'm gonna give up on this guy. That's kind of rule number one for focus stacking, that never try to focus stack an insect that is running around or moving. It will not go your way, and it will only lead to frustration. Try to find the ones that are pretty still, just chilling, then you will get a good stack. I can see now that there is a ladybug here on a leaf. Let's try that instead. Ladybugs are typically really good subject, because most of the time they just chill and they are beautiful. Let's try this. Okay, he moved a bit. He was a little bit startled by the flash, but maybe he was still for a couple of frames. The camera is working. It's 75% done. Let's see if we get anything. No, focus stacking error. Okay, that's fair. He was moving. Let's try again. I'm gonna wait until the ladybug sits still. Okay, he was moving again. I don't have a good feeling about this. Yeah, maybe I should just try another subject. This guy seems to get a little bit upset when I photograph him. Now I didn't see if the stack came together or not. No, I don't think so. Okay, this guy is like running around, so I'm gonna leave him be, find someone else to photograph. June is a crazy month when it comes to insect life here in Sweden. There is so much life everywhere, and it's just everywhere, crawling on me. Yeah, June is probably the best month to do macro photography in Sweden. Then in July and August it's still good, but like the diversity starts to die out. And I guess it's natural, because by the end of June we have summer solstice, so that is the time where the sun emits the most energy per hour on average. And of course then that's the time you want to be alive if you are an insect. See an ant here, but he's crawling around, so I won't even try. Let's move on. I like to look inside flowers for insects, because you can often find them there, and also the colors of the flower usually makes for a very nice framing of the insect, a very nice background. A small fly. He was moving a bit, so I'm not sure if this stack is gonna go through. Oops. Another thing with the stacking mode is that once you start a stack, you can't really stop it. It will take the whole stack, 15 photos in this case. When you're in the bracketing mode, you can just press the shutter again and stop the stack, and that's nice. Today it's around 16 degrees Celsius, slightly overcast, and it looks like it will maybe start raining soon, a little bit at least. We had another fly in a flower, but he flew away. But now I'm thinking I'm gonna try just shooting the flower itself, like up close. Just to see how that works. It's a much easier target than an insect. It's working. 50% done. 75% done. Focus stacking error. Okay. Oops. Well, yeah, so I mean, this internal focus stacking mode is not super reliable. Sometimes it works, but sometimes when you expect it to work, it does not work. And sometimes it just omits a lot of the photos, so it's not really a stack. It maybe took just 2 photos or something like that. So yeah, I mean, in any case, I think we can conclude that we do get a better end result when we use the bracketing mode, where you have more control and more power, but you have to do the stack yourself afterwards. But for convenience and fun, I still have hope with the internal stacking function. Let's continue. We have some kind of carpenter bee here, which looks fairly still. But now he's crawling around, I see. Yeah, he was sitting still there for a while. Let's see if we got anything. Busy. Yeah, we got a successful stack. I'm not sure how good it looks though. No, it doesn't look good at all. We don't have focus on the eyes, the antennas are a bit blurry. I'm gonna try again. This is a really good subject though. This guy is just sitting there, doesn't care at all that I'm photographing. So let's see. I think this one should have turned out good. If the camera fails me here, I will be disappointed. Let's see, it's like 90% done. Focus stacking error. But it still shows me a picture. Yeah, but it's not good. I see though that I should be able to complete this in the computer afterwards. Shouldn't be a problem. I'm gonna try one more time since this guy seems so chill. Now he crawls around a bit. Gonna wait until he slows down. Focus stacking error. It's not going well today. I don't remember it failing this often. It feels like it fails on like 9 out of 10 stacks so far. Yeah, let's grind on. Let's continue and see if we can do better. You know what? These stacks fail me so much, so I don't think it's really worth it. I was planning on doing the whole photo walk with the in-camera stacking, but I'm actually gonna switch to focus bracketing now. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring something with me from the focus stacking function, and that is to limit the stack to only 15 photos. I'm gonna always let it take the whole 15 photos, because then afterwards in Lightroom it's gonna be a lot simpler for me to group every stack. I'm gonna be able to just group every 15 photos together, and it's gonna be a lot simpler, I think, to do the post-processing when all the stacks have the same length. So maybe that is a way of making it slightly more convenient to assemble the stacks afterwards. So I'm going into the menu now, focus stacking off, and focus bracketing on. And number of shots, I'm gonna go with 15. I think that's pretty sensible. Works in a lot of cases. Focus differential 2 as I had before, and charge time 0 seconds. Okay, let's go. Oh, there's a big fly. So I mean, the in-camera focus bracketing feature, it's a great idea, but I think it could probably be implemented better. I know that cameras have limited processing power, and maybe it's not as good as on a high-end computer, but perhaps if they used the algorithm that is used, for example, in Helicon Focus, we should get a much better hit rate, because there are a lot of failed stacks from the camera that the camera failed to assemble that will give beautiful results in Helicon Focus. So I think it would be nice. I mean, since OM system is already known for being great at macro photography, and since that is the main reason many people buy these cameras, and since that is their main edge, I think they should put a little bit more work into some of these macro photography features, such as the in-camera focus stacking, because if it worked better, it would be such a nice experience to just have the camera assemble the stacks in the field. So when you come home, they are already done. That would be so nice. Because I don't do many manual adjustments when I'm working in Helicon Focus at home. I just put in the photos, do the stack, and yeah, that's most of the time that's it. Sometimes I do some retouching, but most of the time I just let Helicon do everything for me. So why not do it in the camera? We have this beautiful Beetle here in like gold and green. I hope that I will be able to get a stack, because I don't see these too often. Trying to find a good angle and a good background. Not sure if I got a good stack because he's moving slightly, but I think I got at least one good single frame. Such a beautiful beetle. Gonna leave him now. Here we have a hoverfly. I think these are so beautiful. Often they are quite skittish though. Let's see about this one. Okay, he's not super skittish. Can I move closer? Nice. Now we started, yeah, now I flew away. I think I got possibly a stack, but at least one good single frame I think I got. So I'm happy about that. Hoverflies, it seems like it's very much up to the individual if you can get a good photo or not. Most of them are really shy and skittish and just fly away very fast, but some subjects, they sit around for a while and you can take a nice photo, and they are really beautiful, I think. In case you hear some sounds from the background, it's a school class. Usually it's completely empty out here on a regular weekday like today, but now it's me and a school class. I'm really grateful that it is not windy today. It's completely still, and that helps a lot, of course, when you're doing macro photography. Here in Sweden, most days are pretty windy, but when it's not, it's kind of a godsend. We have a loving couple here in the flower. Actually now I felt like 15 frames is too little for many stacks, so I'm actually gonna revert back to exactly the settings I usually have, which is focus bracketing mode, but around 40 to 50 frames to a stack, and I can always abort it if I need less. So I guess today's experiment kind of proved that the settings I have been using for the last year or so are the best ones for me, and the internal focus stacking function in the camera that tries to assemble the stack in the camera, yeah, it's a nice idea, but it just fails too often for it to be an enjoyable experience for me. Really interesting guy. Not sure I've seen this species before. If you know the species, please tell me. Nice, I think I got a good deep stack here. And now the rain is starting to come. Gonna take a small break and see how bad the rain will get. Maybe find some tree to hide under. An area like this, just between a meadow or open field and a forest or like more dense vegetation, the area just in between where I'm standing right now is usually a great spot to find insects. I'm not sure why, they just seem to like to hang out in places like this where open fields meet forest. So that's a good place to start looking if you don't know where to look for insects. Mosquito. They are usually pretty skittish. Let's see here. Ooh, it's a beautiful one. Gonna try to get even closer. Or is it a mosquito? I'm not sure. I mean, it looks kind of like some kind of mosquito, but the more I think about it, maybe it's some kind of fly, because he seems to be sucking something out of a flower, and I don't think there are mosquitoes that are like vegetarians, right? That is perhaps a mosquito. And now that one flew away. The fly is still here. It's really crazy, I think, sometimes that I get to be out here today on a Monday morning while pretty much everyone else is at their job, sitting at some desk or something, doing what their boss tells them to do. And I get to be out here with you guys doing macro photography, just enjoying the day. I'm so grateful for this. You might remember that I recently tried the bigger brother of the Godox V350 flash, the Godox V860 Mark III, which is a much bigger and more powerful flash. And I think I said that I would use that flash a few more times to make up my mind about it, because it was a good experience to use it. But now when I'm back to the smaller V350 for just an hour or two, I immediately feel that this is the setup for me. This is what I enjoy using, because this flash is powerful enough for my needs. I can do pretty deep stacks without a problem, and I very seldom do more than like 40 photos, so it's fine, especially with the AK diffuser, which conserves light. What I gain by using this flash is a setup that is more lightweight and a lot easier to maneuver and hold with just one hand for hours without getting tired or anything. With the bigger flash, the 860, I pretty quickly get tired in my arm and hand, and the diffuser is also a lot bigger. You need a bigger diffuser to fit that flash, and that also makes the whole setup a lot more unwieldy. I think this, for me, this is the sweet spot. The diffuser is rather small, the flash is rather small, I have a very powerful lens still. So yeah, right now this is, according to me at least, the best macro photography setup you can own. Beautiful fly, beautiful calm fly. I actually love photographing flies because I think they can look pretty beautiful in a macro photo. And I also love that they are these common animals that are not seen as beautiful. They are seen as like a pest. So it's a nice challenge to try to take a nice photo of a fly. I have noticed that sometimes when the weather turns from sunny to cloudy and rainy like this, flies often become less skittish. I've noticed that during conditions like this, when it's just about to rain, sometimes you can get really close to flies for whatever reason. Almost always otherwise, it's really hard to come close to flies. They just fly away immediately when they see you. Swedish summer at its most beautiful. Many Swedes like to go abroad on their summer vacation. They go to like the Mediterranean Sea. I guess the reason is that they want to be sure to get sunlight every day. But to me it's crazy to leave Sweden in the summer, because now everything is just so beautiful. I just love the vibe, nature, and to me it doesn't matter at all if it is not sunny. I mean, even on a cloudy, rainy day, I think this is just beautiful, wonderful, and the best thing about living in Sweden, the summers. As you can see here, when I'm doing these deeper stacks, this was 45 photos. The flash sometimes make brief stops to catch breath. So I guess this is the difference in power between the 860 and the V350. The V350, you will get some pauses like this, but what you will gain is smaller size and weight. And with the 860 you can take very deep stacks without any pauses whatsoever. So I guess that is the trade-off. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed this photo walk. And don't forget to check out my Macrophotography Handbook here or in the link in the description. Thank you for watching and see you soon again.